Did I ever tell you what kind of coordination is Whitney Houston's favorite? Hand eye.
Yeah, now that you mention it. Yeah.
Hashtag dad jokes.
Hashtag dad jokes. All right, give us something good.
Welcome back to another episode of Unframe of Mind. Daniel cut his beard. Weird.
I'm happy with it. I'm not mad. Yeah. It was just getting way too long. You know how I actually decided to cut this thing?
You finally watched Lord of the Rings and saw the dwarf on there and his fucking cherry flavored beard came down to like here? Yeah. And you knew you can never compete with him?
I would never amount. Yeah, dude, it's like you have cameras in my house. Are you the fucking NSA?
No.
Never mind.
Paramilitary.
Paramilitary. Nah. Just went back through watch. It was just an experiment anyway. I've never grown out that long. I just wanted to see what it would look like. And I went back looking through all of our old videos over the course of the last year. And I seen...
Progressively getting longer?
Yeah.
And the longer it got, the more conspiracy theorist he got.
No,
is there a correlation here?
Like somewhere in the middle, I was like, I kind of like it right there. That looks really nice. So I'm going to go back to that. And that's where I'm going to be for a while.
How narcissistic
until I get really tired of it. And then we'll do something different. It's just how I've always done it.
Don't do like me and go gay face.
Yeah. You don't want me to shave. I promise you that. I start looking like a damn 13-year-old. It's terrible. I have like no chin. just eyes, nose, upper lip, and then beard. Like
wow.
Anyway, this will be video number 3 on the Charlottesville.
Oh, good Lord.
Discussion.
Here we go.
What?
Dive right into it.
As more information has been coming out and more details are becoming known about what's been going on, it's starting to become more and more clear that something is there's a little bit more to this story than just plain and simple. 2 hate groups hate each other and got in a fight, and someone got ran over and killed. Like there just seems to be way more than that. Anyway, I was reading an article earlier today, and to qualify this ahead of time, they did not cite their sources. So that already kind of makes me kind of question the actual validity of the article itself. Right. And to be honest, I've read so much on it, I can't even find the article now. But one of the things they were saying was that they actually had an officer that was there during that time, that was part of the Charlottesville force, speak out and say, yeah, we were told not to do anything. We were told to stand down and not intervene. So, wait for it. We haven't gotten there. We have gotten there. No.
We're there.
Not yet.
I'm back. Quick wardroom change. Well, yeah.
Don't worry. You'll know when it's time.
Okay.
You'll know when it's time. There is a lot of supporting evidence for this. This isn't, something that's super crazy to, if you've taken the time to go through and watch a lot of the live video feeds and then, I know you're not buying a damn word of it.
No, I'm not.
Are you?
Not as of yet, no.
Just,
I'm the guy who likes this shit.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So basically, I'll tell you what. Let me hear what your perspective is on it. I don't know how much you've looked into it, or I know you've been kind of busy anyway. But what are you getting out of it so far? Or
Nazis wanted to talk about their hate speech, and BLM and Antifa didn't want them to talk about their hate speech. They all fought over it. Shit got crazy. Some POS sat there, decided to ram through a crowd, killing a lady. Hope he rots in prison.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He was a dickhead. I get it. So basically, what I'm seeing is you have a number of groups that are all there. Everybody playing their own role in this and has their own set of blame. The white nationalists, first of all,
Nazis,
not the greatest thinkers in the world.
No,
but they did have a permit. They were there, allowed to have their rally. They weren't doing anything wrong in terms of legally, ideologically and morally, perhaps. Most certainly.
Yeah, most certainly.
But
not even most certainly.
But legally, they weren't doing anything wrong. They were exercising their right to free speech. Okay, I get it. So you have many reports of the police shuffling these people out of the park because they had to shut it down. And there was multiple exits out of this park, multiple ways they could have gone. They could have gone opposite direction of where all the BLM and the Antifa groups and the anti-demonstrators were all at. They could have gone somewhere else and left, and we would have never seen this. The cops could have done a number of things to prevent it to escalate to this level, is what I'm saying. And there actually was a lot of video showing the cops kind of pushing them into each other, causing this spark to happen. You know, you get two groups that hate each other. Imagine that they fight. You know, who could have seen that coming? It's a pretty standard, you know, divide and conquer type shit that we've seen all the time in many different scenarios. So I don't think that's too crazy. So where the shit gets real deep, okay? This is not
the proverbial shit either.
This isn't
the literal.
This isn't stuff that I personally believe, but it is stuff that is also being mentioned, or kind of, what's the word I'm looking for here? Considered different possibilities that could have happened. Like, I'm talking some deep. Well, we better go ahead and make sure that we're not heard by this. Okay. So they're talking about the license plate of the guy who drove the vehicle was issued like before his mom's was issued, and that was supposed to be evidence that he was actually paid to do that.
No, explain that to me. I don't get it.
I don't either, but that's supposed to be evidence of this. I don't think it was that complicated. Like, I'm talking about, we're seeing some people come up with some real complicated shit.
So
like,
he bought a car and got the license for his vehicle before his mom did.
The license plate number was supposedly out of sequence from when I don't know what that even means. I mean,
so
yeah,
his mom got a new license plate.
I don't know. I don't even know. But apparently that was.
Do we apply Occam's razor to this?
Yeah, I think so. Somebody actually did try to apply Occam's razor and say that, yeah, Occam's razor applies here. That what your version of the story is the most likely, and it could be, but also there's a lot of evidence to suggest otherwise. But then we've got people suggesting that every single person there was paid, and this was all an act, every bit of it. Like the white,
well, except for people getting their head busted and people dying.
Yeah, the white supremacist groups were there. They were paid. They were actually Antifa, just dressed up as and the Antifa groups. They were there, and they had gone through and tried to act it out ahead of time. And that the car that drove into them, that supposedly it was all part of. I don't even know. I don't know how these people go to that level. It's ridiculous, but it's like, holy shit.
Wow.
Like, just like, keep it simple. You know, the most simple explanation is probably it. And for me, the simplest explanation is, you know, knowing that the government does have an agenda, knowing that, you know, the mainstream media has been trying to shove an agenda down our throat, and it's been pretty obvious that it's
That's
possible.
why we're wearing protection.
It's possible that this was allowed to happen. That, yeah, those two groups were there legitimately. They did hate each other, but it could have been avoided. It could have been at least minimized. Anyway, so.
No, I'm keeping mine on.
I don't even care.
Freaking me out, man.
I feel free, but somehow exposed.
No, I'm keeping my tinfoil hat on. I'm good.
Yeah.
I need to block the. You know what? Off topic for a second. People wear tinfoil hats to keep the reception from people getting into their head, right? But back in the day, they used to put tinfoil wrap around little bunny ears to get better reception. So when tinfoil hats negate not getting the reception, it would actually increase the amount that they could get in there. I mean, if you really want to be tinfoil hat, no, you need to wear a lead helmet.
Yeah, we need to wear lead helmets.
There you go.
And those people that wear the lead helmets probably need to go ahead and lick them until they die.
That's a lot of licks. How many licks does it take to get to the center of conspiracy theory's head?
How many licks of lead does it take? Hey, welcome back, Lee.
Hey, what's up? How you guys doing today? So I'm telling you, I don't believe a word of what I mean, it was like, okay, I saw plenty of posts of saying, "Oh, this came out of Portland, Oregon, or some place on the West Coast. Antifa's manual, right? So this is their manual about how to go against protesters and counter-protesters and things like that." And you could tell exactly just how fake it was. Like, they used the old coffee ring thing on front of it, like it was supposed to be old and used.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, yeah. And there was like little chicken scratch written all over, but basically saying that they have to peace through violence and all that other crap. I'm like, that's a lot. That's really 1984-ish. Peace through violence, really?
Yeah.
Because in 1984, they war is peace.
If you really want to understand what's going on with all this crap, all you got to do is read Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals, and it lays it out step by step, like everything, like the same thing as 1984, the book 1984. We're seeing
It's not a book; it's a playbook.
Yeah.
Go-to manual.
Right. 1984 is becoming a playbook, right? It's like, what the fuck?
I wouldn't say becoming. I'll say it's getting there.
You think it's already? Think it's already there. It's become true.
People are like, all right, huh? Chapter 4. All right.
And what? See, because I still need to go through and read it. I got the gist of what it's about, but I do want it. Just to be fair, I have not read 1984, but I do have a very clear understanding about all the different. But anyway, you have read it. And you were saying that the statues coming down and the erasure of history was also part of how.
Yes.
Like, explain that, how it worked in the book.
Basically, in the book, they remove all of history from books, from monuments, from things like that, to where there's literally what it says in the book. There's only the present. There is no what happened 50 years ago. Yeah. It's just what's happening now.
So, yeah. So then we see this
and we kind of have seen that going from Confederate statues, and now people are talking about removing Jefferson and Washington. Eventually there's going to be Lincoln.
Oh no, Lincoln's already been done.
Oh, well, then, there you go.
Like they've already literally defaced a Lincoln, like a bust.
Yeah, I saw that
him.
post.
Yeah, they tore that shit up. It's terrible. Like, I don't understand what this solves. It doesn't solve anything. The last video that I just put out, or one of the last videos I just put out, was we were talking about, like, so racism's done now, right? We've taken out all the statues, all the evil racist statues. So
now Mount Rushmore.
Now we're done, right?
My question is, I want to know if this has some truth to it. But was MLK openly against gays?
I've heard that a lot. That he wasn't necessarily. I don't know that he was against gays, but he wasn't necessarily for gay marriage or gay rights or anything like that. So
should the LGBT other acronym added to the end want to take those down because he was against it?
Yeah.
I mean, granted, in some way, I kind of agree that, the Confederate statues and whatnot, okay, I understand you put them up and everything like that, and they're supposed to stand for history. Okay, there are plenty of museums that can use them.
Right.
Which is the main consensus. I really don't see why they should be up. I mean, I really don't see why idolizing any person
should be a thing.
It should be a thing. But
I agree with you on that one.
Yeah. But then also there's the other side, the not alt-right, but the right side of the political spectrum. They've been up for how long and nobody's said anything?
Yeah.
But also I've read another article that a lot of these statues were put up for a few years or during the civil rights movement. So,
yeah, I mean, they may have an excellent point as far as wanting to take them down. I don't really get that worked up about it personally. It's just not my battle to fight.
It's because we're white.
But that being said, I mean, by taking them down and by defacing them and violently removing them, like, that's not solving shit. That's just...
That falls into the spectrum. I want to feel better today.
Yeah, it's just putting more fuel on this fire that we're seeing.
You're attacking symptoms instead of
the root problem.
The root problem,
right.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
but it's really difficult to actually get to the root problem of racism because it's up here and it's taught ideology. I can't talk today, which is normal, but it's taught through how you're raised and who you're raised by and everything like that.
Right.
So it's kind of difficult to get rid of. I mean, how would you, instead of just complaining about the problem, how would we solve that? How would we end racism altogether? especially since it's something that's taught ideologically.
Well, I'll tell you what. Here's one of the biggest problems that I'm seeing with it is the fact that racism as a term has become expanded so wide and so far-reaching that it's nearly impossible to actually identify what it is. Does that make sense?
Okay, let's bring it back down to the core. I'm white, and because of the pigment of my skin, I'm better than you are.
Or my race is better.
Yes.
Or superior to your race.
Yes.
Okay. Now, if we just take that and that alone, which that's what racism is it's just basically the belief that one race is superior to another.
That my luck of the draw in the lottery of life, of genetics, made me white, and I'm somehow better than you now because I wasn't born black or Hindu or Mexican or whatever other nationality or race there is.
Yeah. So now here's the problem. You can't eradicate something that has expanded to such a point that it now includes the fact that you are white, therefore you are racist. It's like, wait, hold on. You can't battle that. That's again, that's all ideological. There's nothing you can do about that except for try to somehow, stop educating people in the ways of the social justice warrior crap where everybody's a victim. And if you're white, Christian, male, if you're any of those things, you're automatically the enemy. And there's nothing I can say to defend myself.
Good thing I'm not Christian, at least. Jeez.
I heard that.
Pastafarian.
Ooh.
I need to wear a colander.
All right. So I mean.
But that doesn't answer my question. How would you go about actually trying to end racism and not just the symptoms of it through statues and somebody being your enemy? I mean, honestly, if me being born a white male Christian, whatever you want to call it, not even Christian, just a white male, something that I had no choice in, I'm automatically the enemy. Or because you were born a black man or a Hindu woman, or you were brought up in the Muslim community, you're all of a sudden the enemy because you literally
were born in the wrong spot, the wrong time,
the race of the universe. You're like, bloop, black, bloop, this baby's gonna be white, bloop. I that's just something that just blows my mind. I can't understand it.
So what would be your possible solution? At least start moving in a forward direction rather than this regressive crap.
I mean, it's really easy. Just make sure nobody's in a bunker. Everybody just hit that red button for the nukes. Just get rid of humankind.
Okay.
Just wipe us off the face of the earth. The world will start again. And now I have become the villain.
Racism's done now. You're the villain.
But I ended racism, though. I mean, I had to kill everybody to do it, but... And the fact of the thing, I really don't think there is a way that's going to end racism. There's always going to be something out there. Because it's taught at home. It's not taught, through society and things like that.
So here's something we can do. Like you said, you're not going to end it. There's always going to be somebody out there, or some group of people, which, for the most part, it's been pretty much. It's not that many people that are like, say, in the KKK. There's really,
on the grand scheme of things, over the 7.4 billion people there are.
Yeah, I think the last numbers that I heard was somewhere around like 6,000 active members. I'm like, yeah, that's a lot if they're all together, but Jesus Christ, when you're talking about 7+ billion people. Come on, that's statistically insignificant. That's a drop in the damn bucket. Anyway, the way you I forgot where the hell I was going with it. Yep, there it went. Anyway, you're never ever going to be able to completely eradicate it. What you can do is you can educate people to stop falling for this narrative, this divide and conquer shit that just gets people inflamed and pissed off and making them feel like the problem's bigger than it really is. Like you keep trying to tell people that, white people hate black people and black people hate white people and the white people are keeping the black people down, and it's like, stop. Just stop. This is not, it's a problem. Obviously, we need to deal with it, but it's like it's not as big as the media is making it out to be. Mm-hmm. It's specifically being flamed and inflamed and tried to make it a center point for people's attention.
I mean, it definitely is, because that's all I've seen for the past week, but yet I have barely seen any news coverage for the 6 police officers that were injured this past week, and I think one or two of them were killed.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, what was it, Georgia and Florida?
I haven't heard anything about it.
Exactly.
This is news to me.
Because it's all been about Charlottesville and race and this group versus that group.
I mean, let's be real. I'm sure there's been many rallies that the KKK puts on, or the white supremacist groups. They all have rallies.
Honestly, I'd be on the other side. I'd counter protest against them.
Well, I mean, right, but that's not too far out of the realm of possibility to say, yeah, they probably have them. Why is it not becoming every single time they have it a huge news story? Why this one? Why is this one so huge? I mean, Antifa has counter protest against these groups. Why are they not becoming such a huge deal? Why is it this one here just seems like this all too perfect storm of all these different groups all coming together and having their own part to play and their own blame to play and their own story to tell by being there?
And the thing I'm not too happy about is that they're placing Antifa as, oh, we're this peaceful group, we're just anti-fascists, we're against those guys. But when they were having like the Berkeley riots, Antifa were out there dressed in helmets and they had sticks and bats and everything else. So no, Antifa is not this peaceful group. They go out there for battle too.
No, they're dressed for it. They're ready to go.
And the other group that they were protesting during the Berkeley riots, they weren't dressed for battle out there.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's just so quickly that we forget what happens a few months ago, and we always focus on what's happening right now.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, Antifa's peaceful. They were there to counter protest against Nazis. Okay. It's an adamant cause. But just a couple months ago whatever it was, when Berkeley was going on, they weren't that peaceful protest group. They were out there inciting certain things. So
let me tell you why this here seems to be a huge center point for the media to cover right now. And what I think is they have been looking for some scenario or some event to point to place it on the footsteps, on the doorstep of Donald Trump himself. Their whole mission, it seems like, for the last 6 to 8 months or longer, probably a year now, has get rid of this guy. He is cancer to them. We got to get rid of this guy, and no matter what. And it's been Russia for the past. And now we've got a scenario where they can say, oh, look, this proves that Donald Trump was inciting violence. And this is the kind of rhetoric and behavior that he's encouraging. And he's putting out these dog whistles. Like they're reading into this code language that he's saying. He's trying. You've heard of that? Have you heard of them say that? The dog whistle? Like, Jesus Christ.
I'm responsible for what I say, not for what you interpret from it.
How hard is it to just listen to what the guy actually says? As blundering as he can be at times. It's like, just listen to what he's actually saying. You can't sit there and pretend to read somebody's mind and try to interpret his actions and his motives and his mood. Like, calm down, people. It's like, we get it. You want him out of office, and now this has become a huge story to try to prove that, these people are violent, and now they're, not afraid to say what they think is on their mind. No, these people have been putting on rallies and doing this stuff to begin with. This isn't new.
I mean, I think it's funny just how both the political sides of everything have just flip-flopped with each other. Like, because when Obama was in office, the left was, okay, you need to be peaceful. You need to appreciate the man. He's trying to do something. You need to recognize him as your president, blah, blah, whatever it may be. And the right was, no. He's a black man. He can't prove his birth certificate. He's illegitimate. He's not our president, blah, 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 blah.
I don't think that was the majority of people, though.
I know, but still, that's the way things make it out.
Yeah, you had
But now that Donald Trump's in there, the left is doing what the right was doing last year.
And the right's doing what
the left was doing.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I don't understand how hard it is for people just to sit down at a fucking table and be like, hey, let's hash this crap out.
Yeah, let's just talk.
I mean, I understand. I hate you with a passion, whatever, and you hate me with a passion. Let's knock this shit out, though. And then you might come to the agreement that, hey, you actually don't need a president to figure out our problems.
Maybe we can just solve them on our own. Hell, you go stand in your yard, I'll stand in my yard. We hate each other, we get it, but we'll keep our distance. It's fine.
We'll be civil, and we'll sit there and talk about it and figure out what we got to do.
Yeah. Now, I have heard this from multiple people, or many people, is that Yeah, this has kind of always been the flip-flop thing that's happened with every time the power changes from Republican to Democrat or whatever. It's always been like
But
this.
I mean, it's also been like that back, 100 years ago.
Yeah.
Democratic values today were Republican values back then, and Republican values back then are like the parties have flip-flopped because everybody's like, oh, the Democrats created the KKK, but their values were completely different.
I don't want to get into that right now, but that's actually turning out to be less and less true, actually. That everybody talks about this great historical flip from values between Republicans and Democrats. Again, I don't want to get into it now, but that, just if you start doing just even a little bit of research, that's completely false. But
okay. I will disregard what I said.
You ought to look at some of the latest work by Dinesh D'Souza right now. He's actually going back and looking at the histories of all these different
both the parties.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty enlightening, and whether he's right or not, it's at least another perspective that we can consider and look at. Which I love to have different perspectives and different ways of thinking about things, and I guess that's what I want to do here with even this episode is, don't just sit there and look at Charlottesville as what the mainstream narrative is telling you. I mean, take a second and look. Is it possible that maybe there's a little more to this story than meets the eye? Is it possible that the vice mayor does happen to be an avid anti-white demonstrator? He actually participates in organizations
Anti-white or anti-Nazi or neo-Nazi or
no, he's a black guy.
I understand. I know that
anti-white.
Okay, I didn't know if he was just anti-white or he was anti-white supremacist, racist, whatever.
I don't know.
Because there's a huge difference.
Yeah, right. To be honest, I don't know. Again, there's so many facets of the story to look at that I don't know 100%.
I think that's the issue nowadays.
I don't think
everything's becomes so convoluted that you really can't pick out.
Dude, it is
the real truth behind a lot of things.
It's super hard to find. If I want to find the footage that shows that things didn't really happen the way they happened, or if I want to find somebody's video feed or something like that,
page 2 of Google.
Jesus Christ! You gotta filter through all of the mainstream narrative crap, and you got to go to page 15 of Google before you even start to get.
There's a page 15 of Google.
There is. There's a lot of them.
Thought there was just one page.
It becomes really hard to find truth. You got to really be actively seeking it. You can't just. But again, just don't accept the mainstream narrative for what it is. Maybe it's not as complicated as every single person there was a paid actor to be here to put this on. Maybe it's not as simple though as black group, white group fight. Maybe it's not that simple. So just be open-minded about it and think and try to look at look a little deeper. That's all I'm saying. Find that middle ground somewhere.
Except against Nazis.
Yeah, except that there's no middle ground with a Nazi.
No, there's not. Fuck them.
So
I really don't swear on this episodes or on these shows anymore, so it's a pretty good stance.
So before we wrap this up, do we want to kind of address what's fixing to happen as far as the
Mr. Lee here
direction
is
of the show,
taking it more of a background role. I'm gonna be moving out of state. Gonna be pursuing some different dreams. But I'm still gonna be holding down social media and YouTube and things like that, and this would be your face of Unframe Mind for quite a while until I get things situated and whatnot.
So go ahead and unsubscribe now because everybody knows y'all were here to watch him anyway.
Don't unsubscribe. You can still ask me questions directly in the comment feed. I don't care. So that's the way it's going. It'll be short and sweet without getting too deep into everything. So
we'll still have you on, via Skype or whatever to
occasionally
have discussions every now and again. But as far as a hosting role, it's not going to work.
I'm taking a back seat. I'm being chauffeured, Miss Daisy.
So at any rate, be sure to wish Lee luck in his future endeavors.
My endeavors.
And that kind of thing. There may be a couple more shows between now and when he actually does move that he's still here hanging out, as the opportunities become available to us. But thanks for watching.